A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News here on TV1, coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. For the Newsfirst team, I am Razi Irfan. Before we move on with our bulletin, here's a look at your headlines for this evening.
Veteran singer Nihal Nelson, who delighted Sri Lankan fans for 6 decades, dies. Mortal remains placed at his residence for public to pay their respects. University teachers on strike opposing government's tax policy. 10 university students remanded for assaulting former Peradeniya University Vice-Chancellor. 12 students expelled from university. Cannot allow violence of the past in universities to re-emerge, says government. Stop repression against students over isolated incidents, teachers emphasize. Vasantha Mudalige remanded till 17th January. Driver behind fatal accident in Kolpeti remanded.
Now on to your lead story today. Veteran vocalist, lyricist and composer Nihal Nelson passed away today. He was 76 years old at the time of his demise.
Nihal Nelson is one of the most influential singers in Sri Lanka and was considered undefeated on the concert stage. Nelson holds the record for the most albums recorded by a Sri Lankan artist with 113 albums. Nihal Nelson was born in 1946 in Moratuwa and received his primary education from Innocent Maria Mixed School, which is currently known as Rawatawatha Methodist College. After passing grade 8, he entered Moratu Mahavidyalaya, where he completed his A-levels in 1960. Nelson married Malini Shreyalata in 1974. He was among the first Sri Lankan vocalists to release a cassette in 1978 with Gune Ayyage Kamare. Nelson was also among the first to release a compact disc. He was known for his popular hits such as Pansalapalliya, Kiridunne Daruwantai, Lassanata Pipunu Vanamal, Karuna Suwanda and many more. He also worked as a playback singer for many films.
The Federation of University Teachers Association engaged in a one-day token strike today, opposing the government's tax policy.
University lecturers converged in Colombo this afternoon for a protest march under the theme opposing the government's unfair tax regime and burdensome budget. The march commenced from the University of Visual and Performing Arts and moved towards the University Grants Commission. A proposal containing tax amendments prepared by Federation of University Teachers Associations was handed over to the UGC.
විශ්වවිද්‍යාලාචාර්යවරුන් විදියට ජාත්‍යන්තර විශ්වවිද්‍යාල වල අපි අධ්‍යාපනය හදාරලා මව්බිමට ආවේ තොපිට මේ විදියට ජනතාවත් එක්ක පිස්සු කෙලින්න දෙන්න නොවේ.
වැටුප් මත යැපෙන මූලික වශයෙන්
Those who rely purely on their remuneration must directly benefit through these, but these taxes do not benefit the people in such a way.
යුතුයි. නමුත් මෙම බදු අය කරන්නේ එවැනි ඍජු ප්‍රතිලාභ ලබා දීමකින් තොරව.
අපි දෙන්නා මේ බදු කපන්න ජනවාරි.
We will not allow taxes to be charged. We will protect our salary in January. We are willing to pay taxes, but these taxes are unfair. We challenge the government. Try and tax our salaries.
Protests were held at multiple state universities across the island in line with the protest organized by FUTA. Lecturers of the Peradeniya University who marched from the university premises to the Galaha Junction engaged in a silent protest thereafter.
We are against a tax regime which is merely a band-aid on a collapsing economy. A new tax regime is being introduced at a time when there are many concerns about the squandering of public funds by state politicians. We need an assurance that these tax funds will be channeled to support sectors like health, education and to uplift the living standards of the suffering masses.
Lecturers attached to the Eastern University also engaged in a protest opposite the premises. According to FUTA, academic activities of all universities in the country were disrupted as a result of the token strike. Our correspondent noted examinations which were only announced previously were held at the University of Peradeniya.
According to Sri Lanka's financial regulations, a person's financial capacity is assessed when a loan is given. We can get 60% of our salary as a loan. 36% is taxed from the 40% saved to spend. Ranil Wickramasinghe is carrying out a contract. He is merely pleasing the 134 people who appointed him.
ඒගොල්ලෝ ඡන්දයට අවශ්‍ය විදියට මිනිස්සු බෙදමින් පවතිනවා. දැන් නූල් ටික තියෙන්නේ මපට නටවන වෙන 134ක් අතේ.
According to the amendments made to the Inland Revenue Act, a decision was made to tax income about 100,000 rupees from 6 to 36%. This will come into effect from January 2023.
While the Federation of University Teachers Unions was engaged in a one-day token strike, a debate has arisen surrounding the alleged attack on the former Vice-Chancellor of the Peradeniya University, Senior Professor Atula Senaratne, and his son. 10 students of Peradeniya University who were arrested after surrendering to the police in connection with the incident were remanded until the 22nd after being produced before the Kandy Magistrates Court. SSP Nihal Talduwa said that investigations are underway to apprehend 2 more suspects involved in the attack. On the 10th of December, a conflict broke out between the son of the former Vice-Chancellor and a group of students near the official residence of the Peradeniya University campus. The students then assaulted the former Vice-Chancellor, including his official residence. Professor Sampath Amaratunga, chairman of the University Grants Commission, says that around 300 students were involved in the incident. The 12 students involved in the incident have now been expelled from the university. Deputy Vice-Chancellor of the Peradeniya University, Professor Terence Madhujit, said that among this group there are 9 students from the Faculty of Arts and 3 students from the Faculty of Science.
A long discussion was held when the cabinet met. There, the president clearly stated that as soon as the incident was reported to him, he ordered to conduct an impartial investigation and submit a report. He has requested a special report. Secondly, the common law of the country should become the common law of the university as well. The SJB deeply condemned this incident. We do not approve of this. We request that the law be enforced.
අර ගමේ කතාවක් තියෙනවා යකඩ මල්ලට ගුල්ල ගැහුවට පස්සේ පම්මල්ලට කවර කතාවද මෙරටේ ජනාධිපතිතුමා ඇතුළු.
They set fire to the houses of the president and ministers. 1 life was lost. If this group got together at that point too, justice would have been served for the victims and such incidents would not take place in the future.
අද ඒ අයට සාධාරණයක් වෙලා සමහරට ඉදිරියේදී ක්‍රියාකාරකම් මේ විදිහට සිදු නොවෙන්න තිබුණා. මේ වාරේ මේක ටිකක් කල්පනාවෙන්.
If we don't understand and deal with this carefully, I can see that Sri Lanka will once again be dragged into a great horror.
විශාල භීෂණයකට අරන් දින තොරූපයක් මට පේනවා.
දෙබිඩි කතා කරන්නේ නැතුව.
The whole country should know as to who is behind this problem. The minds of these children have been spoilt with drugs and poison.
දරුවන්ට අයිස් පෝල අයිස් කවල විසනාශක පවල මේ දරුවන්ගේ මනස විකෘති කරලා ඉන්න.
මහාචාර්ය
Professor Stanley Vijayasundara was murdered in 1987. In 1987, the Vice-Chancellor of the Katubadda University was killed, causing more than 80,000 deaths. I would like to say that the student unions of the JVP and Frontline Socialist Party are involved in this. They must be punished.
මේ අයට දෙන්න පුළුවන් උපරිම නීති අනුකූල දඬුවම
We are not trying to attack anyone politically through this. We should stop such conflicts from taking place. I expect the Education Minister to make a clear statement regarding this.
අපේක්ෂා කරනවා මේ පිළිබඳව රටට ඉතා පැහැදිලි ප්‍රකාශයක් සිදු කරන්න කියලා.
Opinions similar to those expressed by MP SP Disanayake were expressed at the press conference held by the SLPP.
Back in the days, we saw how Professor Stanley Vijayasundara, an important and renowned scholar, was killed. We saw those incidents. Nowadays, we have a problem as to whether history will repeat itself. Are we heading back into a society and a culture where scholars like Professor Stanley were killed? Is that where we are going by attacking the professors now?
Meanwhile, Minister of State for Higher Education Suren Raghavan says that this attack has been whitewashed by an organized gang.
Blacklist all those who are involved in ragging and who violate human rights in universities with similar kinds of investigations. Make sure they cannot get their passports or police reports. More than 8 incidents were reported post-Aragalaya. If a vice-chancellor cannot live peacefully at his own official residence, if he is being threatened, if his house is being attacked, any lawyer knows that according to what has been done, the penal code can be applied. I think more than 10 offences have been committed.
A group called the Nava Janata Party lodged a complaint with the police headquarters regarding the incident at the University of Peradeniya today.
None of these things happen in isolation. When something happens in these universities, it goes from the IUSF to either the JVP or Frontline Socialist Party, who then advise them. If these students can be persuaded into a position where they are even willing to break down the door of the Vice-Chancellor and destroy it, then the people of this country need to raise questions from those political parties.
These were the views expressed by the Peradeniya University Student Union.
This is based on an incident which occurred close to the Sarath Chandra Open Air Theatre at the Peradeniya University. 2 motorcycles were parked on the road. An individual arrived in a vehicle and attacked the 2 cycles and fled the area. The university students who saw this were able to track the offender down and stop him. At the time, the university students questioned as to who this individual was, and he answered saying, "This is our father's campus and we can do whatever we want inside this campus." A heated exchange of words then took place between this individual and the students, which later escalated into a brawl. He had said that he will remember their faces and warned of the consequences. The students were unaware that this was the former Chancellor's son. It is later on that they got to know. Then the university disciplinary guards got involved. The deputy vice-chancellor of the university got involved. But the problem could not be solved. Later, when the police arrived, he was handcuffed and taken away. Then he admitted in front of the students that he had made a mistake and that he would accept the mistake and pay damages. They took him to the police. After he was brought to the police, he was sent back to the hospital. He was not at the police station for even 2 hours before returning home. He was intoxicated at the time. There were several drunk people at his house as well. We have filed a complaint regarding the damage to the motorcycles. Even those who went to file the complaint were asked to take alcohol tests. No such alcohol test was done on the son of the Vice-Chancellor. Now 12 students have been identified. Among those 12, there is an individual who was not even present at the location during the time of the incident. If university students are sacrificed for the sake of saving certain privileged people, we will not allow it.
විවිධ පුද්ගලයන්ගේ බේරීම උදෙසා මේ අහිංසක විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ශිෂ්‍යයෝ බිල්ලට දෙනවා නම් අපි ඒකට ඉඩ දෙන්නේ නැහැ.
This was the response given by the Federation of University Teachers Associations regarding the incident in Peradeniya.
Don't create a generalized picture that all university students are like this. This is clearly a personal dispute. What's wrong here is the attack on our professors' residence. We should not accept this at all. Taking the law into your hands is wrong. Similarly, if someone is attempting to gain political advantage out of this incident, that is also wrong. There's no place where politics doesn't exist. Even inside universities, politics is necessary. However, there shouldn't be an agenda to implement party politics. Irrespective of whether or not university students assault others, there is an independent police and a judiciary in this country. Therefore, do not insult university students. We are strongly against this conspiracy to label them as criminals.
The President has informed university vice-chancellors that plans will be implemented to lead the country's university system on a new path. The head of state had informed the vice-chancellors to implement an organized program to prevent ragging. The discussion was held this morning at the President's office regarding the contribution of university students to the National Youth Platform. The platform will be created in conjunction with the 75th Independence Day celebration next year. The President has emphasized that the future development plans of the country should be prepared not for today but for the next 25 years, and it is expected that the contribution of the youth will be maximized.
I told them to take action in what happened in Peradeniya, and we hope and we will be, as the IG says, we've been talking regularly, we will be taking action whenever there is a breach of law. The staff cannot be under threat. That cannot be allowed under any circumstances. Secondly, we'll be looking for an organized program to stop ragging, which will also start sometime next year, both on ragging and drugs, which will have to play a role in the universities. So those headaches we'll give you later. At the moment, the biggest event is how do we make Sri Lanka regional hub for education. On one hand, we have to look at the role of the present universities. How are we going to adjust to it? On the other hand, we are opening out for non-government universities. So there will be competition. Firstly, I think you will have to discuss among yourselves how are we, what is the role for the state universities.
Inter-University Students Federation convener Vasantha Mudalige has been further remanded until the 17th of January 2023 after he was produced before Colombo Additional Magistrate Tharanga Mahavatta today.
The Colombo Additional Magistrate questioned whether it was appropriate to investigate one individual under the Prevention of Terrorism Act for the acts of violence that took place in different areas, while there were thousands of people involved in the Aragalaya. Senior Deputy Solicitor General Dileepa Pires said although society at large accepted the Aragalaya as a good thing, the violence and damage to public property cannot be accepted. Dileepa Pires told the court that there was enough evidence to prove that Vasantha Mudalige tried to infuse violence into the Aragalaya.
The B report stated he should be detained under Section 7.2 of the Prevention of Terrorism Act until the case was taken up, and that he cannot be released on bail until the case was over. But when going through the B report, we got to know that the report had no facts regarding Vasantha Mudalige being involved in acts of terrorism. While some people have been prosecuted under the Penal Code and under the common law, Vasantha Mudalige was prosecuted under the PTA. Why? That is our question. The Attorney General's Department today presented the matter of detaining Vasantha based on the testimony of Gamunu Vijayaratne and Motivation Appachi. The Attorney General's Department should be ashamed of this. It is clear that Vasantha is being detained due to the testimonies of several people who are loyal to the government for the purpose of a few people to satisfy the anger of a few people.
Meanwhile, the fundamental rights petition filed by Venerable Galvava Siridhammathera was taken up for consideration today. Appearing for the Attorney General, State Counsel Shavendra Vikrama said that the court will be informed in the future on whether the Attorney General will be appearing for Senior Deputy Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Thenakon, who has been named as a respondent. The Attorney General was not appearing for the Senior DIG in courts today. Venerable Galvava Siridhammathera had filed the application seeking a determination from court that his fundamental rights have been violated as he was detained under the provisions of the Prevention of Terrorism Act. The petition will be taken up for consideration again before a bench comprising of Justices Bonekalu Vihara and Janak De Silva on the 22nd of January.
We were detained without any charge. We were held under inhumane conditions. We filed this case because these actions taken against us are unjust.
More news will come your way after this short commercial break. Stay tuned with us.
News First, main sponsor.
25% for 2 months, 25.5% for 4 months. Valuable FD.
Ivan Satutin inne wiring karala. Wiring kiruwe Eslon Polycon yodala.
For your safety and the protection of the wires used in networking and AC wiring, Eslon Polycon cable trunking.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD. 25% for 2 months, 25.5% for 4 months. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability.
Welcome back to the news. SJB MP Chaminda Vijayasiri, in a revelation in Parliament today, said that the local representative of the company that leased Lotus Towers is the owner of the company behind the bond scam, Arjun Aloysius. However, in response, Minister of Urban Development Prasanna Ranatunga denied any knowledge of the same.
Now an organization connected to Arjun Aloysius is the Sri Lankan representative of the Singaporean company that has leased the Lotus Tower. Then our question is, when they are looking for Arjun Aloysius, he is the representative of the Singaporean company providing this Lotus Tower project. Half the central bank's money was lost to the bond scam. Is this being provided to compensate for that? There were rumours that your party used Arjun Aloysius' money for the election campaign during the Good Governance government. Those in the opposition and in the SJB were given this money. This will be proven in court. Second thing is, you asked if the Lotus Tower was given to Arjun Aloysius. We are not involved with Arjun Aloysius. Maybe you are aware of this since your party is connected to him, not us.
The US-funded program to document and conserve the Godawaya shipwreck and its artifacts was launched today. The Godawaya, originally discovered by 2 Sri Lankan divers, is the oldest known shipwreck in the Asia-Pacific region and one of the oldest sunken vessels to be discovered in the world.
US Ambassador Julie Chung, Secretary to the Ministry of Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs Somaratna Vidanapathana, Director General of Central Cultural Fund Professor Gamini Ranasinghe and Senior Archaeology Officer Rasika Muthukumarana celebrated the announcement of the US grant of $82,192 for the conservation of the Godawaya shipwreck. The grant to Sri Lanka's Central Cultural Fund comes from the US Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation.
The presence of the Godawaya shipwreck reaffirms Sri Lanka's long-standing and essential role as a maritime trading partner, a friend, and a beacon of safe and open harbors for explorers, traders, and nations across the Indo-Pacific. And in just a few months, we'll begin celebrating our 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Sri Lanka and the United States. The longevity and depth of that relationship is important to me. The Godawaya project is not just a one-time project. It's the latest of over a dozen cultural preservation projects the United States has partnered with Sri Lanka over the past 17 years. In all, these projects represent over $1 million of funding from the U.S., and I'm proud to lead a mission that respects, honors, and helps to fund the identification, preservation, and study of Sri Lanka's amazing and valued cultural heritage.
The documentation of the Godawaya located near Hambantota port and engagement with US experts on Indo-Pacific trade routes and shipwrecks will increase global understanding of trade in Indo-Pacific and especially in Sri Lanka's role in its rich history.
The 26-year-old driver of the car that crashed in Kolpiti on Saturday morning, killing one person who fled overseas within hours of the accident, was arrested on arrival at the Bandaranaike International Airport from Dubai this morning and was remanded until the 16th of December. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa raised questions in Parliament today as to why attempts are being made to privatize Sri Lanka Telecom, a profit-making company.
Through the 2023 budget presented by the government, it has been proposed to restructure Sri Lanka Telecom. The government is attempting to restructure such profit-making entities is problematic. So we are strictly against selling profit-making entities for cheap prices. This is going to affect not only the economy but also the public security. Neither the president nor government has a mandate for the privatization of public entities. We will provide a more descriptive response at the next parliamentary session. And regarding the concerns raised, the government is not in any way attempting to put the public security at risk. The government is trying to take decisions which will not in any way adversely affect the government sector employees. That is good, but I would like to request you to hold discussions on restructuring with the respective stakeholders by protecting employee rights. Then we would also look into this in a positive manner.
The opposition also raised questions regarding the Easter attacks and the bond scam.
Your ruling party used this matter as a tool against President Ranil Wickremesinghe and former President Maithripala Sirisena. So I wonder if this issue is being dragged because Ranil Wickremesinghe has come to your side and Maithripala Sirisena is becoming his political enemy.
At
the time of the Easter Sunday attacks, the President, the Minister of Defence, the Chief of Staff and the Minister in charge of the police were one person, and that was President Maithripala Sirisena. Maithripala Sirisena was the overarching authority, but Ranil Wickremesinghe was the Prime Minister at that time. Now, concerning the central bank bond issue, will your answer be diluted in the same way?
These were the views expressed at the media briefing convened by the Samagi Janapalavegiya today.
We showed Ranil Wickremesinghe clearly day before yesterday at our party convention just where the people stand. We can take thousands of people to the streets if we want to. That's how angry and frustrated people are about the cost of living. We could use that to agitate the people even more and bring them out to the streets for our political gain. But we thought about the country. We didn't do that then and we won't do it now. Ranil Wickremesinghe should not misunderstand this. The people's mandate and system change they demanded through the Aragalaya. These should be given to the people. You cannot keep postponing elections. The Election Commission has the legal right to call for an election. If you do not call for elections this month, we will take to the streets with thousands of people in January.
Ranil Wickremesinghe ජනාධිපතිතුමනි ජනවාරි මාසෙදලා අපි ලක්ෂ ගාණක් ජනතාව පාරට බස්සනවා.
The University of Sri Jayawardhanapura launched a unique website today that is designed to teach preschool children the English language online in a fun way through songs.
The English for Fun project is based on stories, nursery rhymes and songs. The project is the brainchild of Dr. Madhubhashini Disanayaka Ratnayaka, Senior Lecturer at the Department of English Language Teaching at the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. This website will make the whole syllabus available to English language acquisition centres that will be established in the public library system nationwide free of charge. The pursuit of such a project is inspired by the lack of engagement in the English language in rural areas of Sri Lanka. The concern was also raised that there was a shortage of teachers to instruct and teach their students. The website helps young leaders to familiarize themselves with popular English songs, stories and rhymes, therefore giving them familiarity with the English alphabet and words. The project has been pursued with the help of the Governor of the Northern Province, and 30 nurseries are already carrying out the pilot project in the Northern Province.
Yesterday, we looked at a story about young people who spend time in rehabilitation centers hoping to turn their life around after becoming addicted to drugs. Today, we bring to you live the manner in which drug traffickers target school children in their operations.
Unfortunately, today school children have become the main target of drug smugglers. Many such tragic incidents were reported in the recent past. Startling revelations about the use of narcotics inside a school in the Jaffna district emerged a few months ago. The director of the Mana Rehabilitation Center elaborates.
Recently, we visited a school in Mana for some work. We visited the school with a group of youth who are under rehabilitation. We found several used drug capsules inside a trash bin at the school premises. The youth who were under rehabilitation informed me that it was the same type of drug that they used as well. How did these drugs enter the school? This is a very dangerous situation. Young people who are addicted to narcotics are undergoing rehabilitation at our centers. Drug smugglers are targeting school children of grades 8 and 9 in the Mana district. Therefore, it is very important that we pay special attention to the children.
Certain parents are distributing a particular kind of toffees, reportedly a type of narcotic, at schools through their children. Several school students in our district are undergoing treatment at clinics dedicated for drug abuse. Some children have left schools midway. Those who are at the high end of society are behind this drug mafia, targeting school children in our district. Narcotic substance ice is among the most popular drugs used for this purpose. During a discussion held recently with the police, we were informed that even cocaine was being distributed in our district.
The number of drug-dependent people in the Jaffna district is on the rise. The rate of death due to the drug abuse as well as the number of youth who are undergoing rehabilitation is increasing. Drug smugglers are increasingly targeting the children and youth. This has also resulted in more cases of abuse against children and women. Several deaths were reported due to the use of narcotics by injecting it directly into the body. 20 such deaths have been reported in our district within a short period.
The message is clear that parents should pay more attention to their children. However, why have the security forces not been able to prevent the spread of drug use in the north? Await more details on this story tomorrow.
Bahamas police arrested Sam Bankman-Fried, the 30-year-old founder of FTX, the world's second largest cryptocurrency exchange. According to foreign media, FTX failed spectacularly, leading to the loss of billions of dollars of money invested by more than 1 million people. Today, the US Security and Exchange Commission also filed charges of fraud against Bankman-Fried.
The arrest came on a request by the Southern District of New York, which is considering a host of charges including wire fraud conspiracy, securities fraud conspiracy and money laundering. Investigators believe FTX collapsed after Bankman-Fried siphoned off over $10 billion to another of his companies, the hedge fund Alameda Research. The fall of FTX has panicked investors and led to a crash in other cryptocurrencies around the world.
6 people were killed in a 4-hour gun battle in Queensland, Australia on Monday, including 2 police officers. According to foreign media, this is a rare occurrence in a nation where gun violence is unusual.
A team of 4 Queensland police officers had gone in search of a missing person, a former school principal, in a remote town 270 kilometers west of Brisbane, on a request from New South Wales Police. They had been ambushed at a house by a 3-member gang who were later identified as the ex-principal, his brother and sister-in-law. Their motive was not known. A neighbor was also killed in the hail of gunfire that had met the police team, which was caught completely by surprise. Police reinforcements arrived, but although no less than 16 officers laid siege to the house, the occupants could not be subdued. A special emergency response team was then called in, and after a lengthy gun battle, 3 attackers were shot dead.
Favourites Argentina battle dark horse Croatia at 12:30 tonight in the first semi-final of the FIFA World Cup. You can watch the game live exclusively on TV1. And this brings us to an end of primetime news here on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Razi Irfan. Good night and take care.